Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Daniel, and normally on this channel I react to stuff that I've never heard before. But over the course of one night, I'm recording a bunch of videos where I'm talking about some stuff that I've been listening to lately, and just kind of showing you guys some of that. And also, they're still technically reaction videos. I'm still going to do deep dives into the songs and everything that I normally do. And for a lot of them, I've never done that for them anyway, so it's a good learning experience for me as well. And today, right now, the artist of choice is Phoebe Bridgers, which, frankly, is an artist that I didn't really expect to get into as heavily as I did. I heard the song This Is the End, or The End. Wait, what's the name of the song? No, it's going to kill me if I don't know. I Know the End. Jeez Louise. Okay. I heard the song I Know the End on Saturday Night Live. And then I went and listened to the album version, and it blew me away. And then I listened to like two more songs by her, and they didn't really impact me the way that I Know the End did. So I didn't listen to her again for a little while. Then I distinctly remember when I really got into her stuff. I think I got sick. This was probably like 5 or 6 months ago. I think I stopped making videos and made a video afterwards saying I've been sick or something like that. Anyway, and I was just in my bed, just laying doing nothing. And for whatever reason, her newest album, Punisher, was in my recommended page on YouTube, and I didn't really want to be scrolling on my phone, so I was like, you know what, I'll just listen to this. I put it on and had headphones on and just listened to it. I love this album. And then I listened to Stranger in the Alps, and I listened to them both many, many times. And the music is way softer than stuff that I generally listen to. The lyrics on all the songs, every single one of them, are really, really good. But also the musicality of the record is one that grew on me every time I listened to it, because it's so what's a good word? It's like understated. It's there's so many layers, but it's so elegant, and so you got to pay attention to each little minor thing, because each song is constructed in a very precise way, even if it's not like super, even if the things aren't calling attention to themselves or being super obnoxious. That being said, she has said in interviews that she wants her next album to have more rocking or harder songs, and I would love that. So hopefully that does happen. But anyway, this album, Punisher, I really like it. I can see why there would be people who wouldn't. But I love this album, and Phoebe Bridgers has become one of my favorite newer artists, like, ever. And everything that she's doing in the music and indie communities is freaking incredible too. But anyway, I digress. I've been talking for almost 4 minutes now. I really sat here and thought for a while about which one of these to do. I learned a bunch of her songs on guitar, like Kyoto, and let's see. I think I learned Moonsong, but I never sing it. I Know the End. Savior Complex is good too. They're all really good. But the first two, I mean, we're going to try to do the first two. The first one being an instrumental thing that kind of eases you into the album, and the second one being the first real song. So, without further ado, DVD menu and Garden Song. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for joining me.
Someday I'm gonna live in your house up on the hill. And when your skinhead neighbor goes missing, I'll plant a garden in the yard. Then they're gluing roses on a flatbed. You should see it, I mean thousands. I grew up here till it all went up in flames, except the notches in the door frame. I don't know when you got taller. See our reflection in the water off a bridge at the Huntington. I hopped the fence when I was 17. Then I knew what I wanted. And when I grow up, I'm gonna look up from my phone and see my life. And it's gonna be just like my recurring dream. I'm at the movies, I don't remember what I'm seeing. The screen turns into a tidal wave. Then it's a dorm room, like a hedge maze. And when I find you, you touch my leg and I insist. But I wake up before we do it. I don't know how, but I'm taller. It must be something in the water. Everything's growing in our garden. You don't have to know that it's haunted. The doctor put her hands over my liver. She told me my resentment's getting smaller. No, I'm not afraid of hard work. I get everything I want. I have everything I wanted.
And then the next track totally changes things up and goes fast and has a little bit of an aggressive guitar in there, and yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it there. Probably should have paused it, but whatever. Yeah, since Phoebe's 2017 debut album Stranger in the Alps, Phoebe Bridgers makes her solo return with the lead single Guard. Oh, this was the lead single on the song. Or on the album. Okay. For her sophomore album, Punisher. In an interview with Zane Lowe on February 26, 2020, she states that the song is about reoccurring nightmares I have on tour. She also revealed that the deep voice you hear is Jiren. Is this person. Her tour manager. Apologies. This song was first performed live on tour in Japan, February 2019. Oh, she left a comment on this. It's about dreams and to get really LA on it, manifesting. It's about all your good thoughts that you have becoming real and all the crappy stuff you think is becoming real too. If you're afraid of something all the time, you're going to look for proof that it happened or that it's going to happen. And if you're a miserable person who thinks that good people die young and evil corporations rule everything, there's enough proof in the world that that's true. But if you're someone who believes that good people are doing amazing things no matter how small, and that there's beauty or whatever in the middle of all the darkness, you're going to see proof of that too. And you're going to ignore the dark crap or see it, and it doesn't really affect your worldview. It's about fighting back the dark, evil, and murderous thoughts and feeling like if I really want something, it happens or it comes true in a totally weird, different way than I even expected. I was thinking about my hometown, and I was thinking about reoccurring nightmares I have on tour. So on Garden Song, my tour manager sings with me. He's 6'7". He's a Dutch man. I realized he had the voice of an angel when he was singing Mitski with me in the van, and he was 2 octaves below me, and I was like, you sound like Matt Berninger from The National. On the day of its release, Pitchfork reviewed this and named it the best new track. There is a mechanism inside of Phoebe Bridgers that allows her to gaze unflinchingly into the pitch black of her own psyche and emerge with a beautiful bittersweet song every time. Unlike some of her biggest hits, Garden Song is a warped, finger-picked melody that never grows into a moment of catharsis. Its most significant flourish is a delicate swelling of strings that barely rises above a flutter. Yes, like I said, everything's very elegant, understated, lots of, there's a lot of production stuff that goes on. There's a lot of layers to every single song on this album. And you miss it. Or I missed it the first time I listened to it. And it took a lot of time to notice as many things as I've noticed. And just listening to it that time, I noticed some new things. Like, screen turns into a tidal wave. When she says tidal wave, something on her voice changes and it, grows and swells and echoes out with reverb and then cuts back to being that thin and close sounding thing. Anyway, yeah. These lyrics are a little cryptic too. This first line is a nod, or a possible nod. She's said that he's one of her biggest inspirations. A possible nod to Elliott Smith's record From a Basement on the Hill, introducing the overall album theme of Bridgers' infatuation with the singer-songwriter. Wow. The speaker implies she'd murdered a skinhead neighbor, burying them in her yard. This is stark contrast to the imagery procured in the previous line of the elevated level of contentment in her house up on a hill. This is a reference to the decorations of all the floats the week or so before the Rose Parade. Wow, Phoebe's hometown is nicknamed the City of Roses. Like many images in Garden Song, this line juxtaposes the romantic thousands of roses with blunt realism gluing things onto a flatbed. It leaves the listener to resolve the two. And like other songs in the album, this song also references Elliott Smith. Wow, I actually did not know that this song had a million Elliott Smith references in it, so that's actually really cool. Phoebe is from Pasadena, California, and alludes to different aspects of her hometown throughout the song. Providing insight into these lyrics, The New Yorker writes, when Bridgers was 20, her parents divorced. The year before, their house had caught on fire. The metaphor is insane, she said, laughing. Their breakup was horrible, really, really vindictive and crappy. I think everybody who has had parents separate knows the feeling of watching people who used to care about each other just freaking hate each other. But it was so nice that it was happening, and my brother and I were just so relieved. Oh my. That's crazy. This is likely a reference to the common tradition of families drawing or cutting marks into a wooden door frame in their home to track the growth of children through the years. Aw, that's sad. Yeah, all of her songs are have a melancholy aspect to them. The entire song seems to be about growing up, and Phoebe uses the motif of getting taller to act as a metaphor for becoming more emotionally mature. In the chorus, she talks about a relative growing up, and this is contrasted in the second chorus when she switches to singing about herself growing up. She also reminisces about when she was younger and possibly more innocent. As she grew older, she saw this person leave her, and so they are taller when she sees them again. This probably refers to the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens in San Marino, California, which is roped off from normal pedestrian traffic. The Huntington is a private botanical garden. Here she has hopped the fence as a teenager, and they've together looked at their reflections. The reflection of the two of them tells the narrator at 17 what she wants out of life. It implies that one of those things is the relationship, which is the most straightforward view, but may also indicate a desire for a clear vision of herself, for shared experiences of transgressive behavior, or for the two of them to be united in a beautiful natural setting. Perhaps this line also touches on human decency to feel like we know exactly what we want when we're teens, while adulthood can bring more ambivalence. Huh. References stereotypical Gen Z feeling of spending so much time on your phone that you feel like you're living vicariously through other people on social media. Oh boy, Bridgers could be saying that she hopes this is a habit she'll grow out of when she gets older, possibly in the hope that the life she looks up at will be better and more fulfilling. Yeah, Bo Burnham has a thing that he says in one of his interviews where he's like, yeah, no wonder a bunch of people are just staring at their phones all day. Look at the world around you. Which is obviously not a very good way of looking at it, but still. In the music video for Garden Song, she references the 2001 cult. Wow. She references the 2001 cult classic movie Donnie Darko as she sings these lines. In the video, someone in a rabbit suit sits down beside Bridgers and removes the mask to reveal a bleeding eye. Okay, just so you know, Donnie Darko is a movie that that I was obsessed with for about 2 weeks, back around New Year's. Maybe 3 weeks. Watched it like 4 times. Love that movie. So, crazy that this song references that as well. In dreams, the dreamer often experiences a characteristic sudden shift in setting. The use of a garden as a symbol for sexual awakening for the female body is classic, although the hedge maze lends an air of danger or uncertainty to this metaphor. It also evokes the difficulty and confusion of young adults trying to find their way around one another's bodies for the first time. I find you touch my leg. Yeah, so... she explains why these lines in particular are one of the rare instances of love and romance presented on the album Punisher. Yeah, that's another thing that I like about the album is very few of the lyrics are typical. And none of the songs really have very clear, defined meanings. They're all about like 20 things at once and have a lot of different ideas going on. Lots of different types of imagery and metaphor. Yeah, really like her lyrics. I think love has been a changing form for me in my adulthood. There isn't as much of a script for friendship, so I think the lines kind of blur on the record between romance and platonic friendship. They're kind of becoming the same thing to me. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to write a song about my friend, and then I end up with this very obvious Starbucks love song. I don't know, like a Jason Mraz song. My corniest songs that are the least fraught are about my friends. In a repeat of this, then she says, everything's growing in our garden. You don't have to know that it's haunted. And remember, she says, I don't know how, but I'm taller now instead of you're taller. Their garden is haunted by the murdered skinhead from the beginning of the song. Can you cultivate peace and beauty from violence? When we look at our own personal and spiritual growth, do we care how it was cultivated? That the present is built on destruction? Like the childhood home that went down in flames, except for the notches in the doorway, perhaps it's only the growth that matters. Perhaps we don't have to examine too closely how we got there. And that's the question being raised, but we have the fact that we have Garden Song shows that there's an unease with this notion. It's a very uncomfortable piece. There's a tension between accepting this peace that we've attained, somehow maybe not even on purpose, but having that nagging feeling that there was something we wanted in our youth that we didn't quite get. The doctor put her hands over my liver and told me my resentment's getting smaller. She reveals that these lines are based on actual events. There was a nutritionist in LA who literally did that to me. My imagination is not as creative as my reality. In traditional Chinese medicine, liver health is tied to emotional health, and specifically anger and resentment. The intimate gesture of placing your hands over an injury has a long history in literature and religion. The doctor's phrasing here treats the resentment almost as a tumor or a malignancy, something that can shrink away and die with time and treatment. And one common way you can deteriorate your liver is to consume lots of alcohol or drugs. The doctor is probably not directly telling Phoebe that her resentment is getting smaller, but instead telling her that her liver is getting healthier, which means that Phoebe's moving away from her habits of using alcohol as a coping mechanism and to channel her resentment. And she says, I'm not afraid of hard work. When Bridgers performed Garden Song to a public audience for the first time, these lines were initially, I was only doing God's work, then I did everything I want. As it currently stands, this line describes her putting effort in, changing for the better, working hard, and trying her best to create a better future for herself. It is reminiscent of the lines at the end of the children's classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. He says, "Don't forget what happened to the man who suddenly got everything he ever wanted. What happened? He lived happily ever after." Phoebe Bridgers now has everything she has ever wanted, to be a famous singer. However, she describes her resentment for her life and how it has taken a toll on her. I have everything that I wanted. Yeah. Dang. It's a bit, yeah, that's a double-edged sword, getting everything you want. Yeah. I also agree to an extent with her opinion on, damn, this is going on over 20 minutes. Her opinion on how if you focus on something, you're going to see it everywhere, and you'll find evidence to support your theories. It's very easy to find evidence to support almost anything. And I say evidence lightly. I just mean like some type of experience to validate your opinions, no matter how bullcrap the opinions are. And then who's to say? But yeah, wow. Thanks, Genius.com. Those were a lot of good notes on there. That's Phoebe Bridgers' Garden Song. This whole album is great, filled with great moments, and I quite enjoyed listening to it. So if you enjoyed it, consider checking out the album, because it's going to be down below in the description. And if you're new to the channel, or like a Phoebe Bridgers fan, hi, consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of stuff. And yeah, I've only heard this album and Stranger in the Alps. Let me know if there's anything else that I should check out by Phoebe Bridgers. I know that those are her two main albums. I haven't heard much by Better Oblivion Community Center, but I do know Dylan Thomas on guitar, and I think I watched their Tiny Desk NPR set. I don't think I've listened to anything by Boy Genius, and she was the bassist, I think, in Sloppy Jane back before anything started, really. And I know Sloppy Jane's work as well, so in case you need my background in whatever. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Deathstroke 9 out.